Kaiserpunk is a really interesting take on when you have a city builder plus warmongering aspects, put it into one, give it to a crazy person like me, and let it rip. So that's pretty much it. It's in fact a very fun game, and I think you all should give it at least a college kid's try. I want to take a moment to also thank Elda Entertainment for granting me a Steam key for this incredible game, and now I want to show it to all of you. And if you all like it, I don't mind bringing it to the channel more often. So without further ado, let's just jump right on into the action. So when you're setting up your game here in Kaiserpunk, you can start from any of these locations around the map, and pretty much, like for example, with like down here or over here, or even in Central Europe, you have a whole bunch of other little individual regions that you can start from actually. So let's say you want to begin over here in Lisbon, you will have control over the Iberian Peninsula, which is cool. But for this particular one, I want to start in Palermo because, yeah, I just want to be in the Italian Peninsula for this one. And my name is Daniel Russell. Not really. No, that is not my name. I'm just going to go with Rantius. That is my name, and you better not forget it. Okay. With city name Progress Springs, you know what? We'll take it. Please do not tell my very Italian girlfriend that that is the name of the settlement that we have come up with. I greatly appreciate you. But this is the spot that I also want to touch on really quick before we jump into the game itself, and that is your heritage path. Now, every single one of these, and I'll go through them slowly so you can at least read what they have, it's kind of like if you were to go into Stellaris and make up your own faction to an extent. And they have the buffs and the debuffs, but also with that, if you notice, the tanks are changing between the ones that you select. So like, for example, Empire Steel has a Tiger tank and a Panther, and I like both those tanks, so I'm naturally going to want to deviate to one of these that has them. So like Mountain Kingdoms had it, and I believe Industrial Titan had it. But the downside here is that we'll have a penalty to agricultural production due to pollution. It's fine. It's all for the good of the realm. Listen, it just works, to quote Todd Howard. And then you can also create your flag, also known as your banner. Why? Because later on, it does become your banner. You have a town center, and the banners fly in the front. If you don't know, by now, I love banners, okay? So this is immersive. All right, so the Ashes of War. This is a time in which everything has gone to hell after the World War, and you essentially have the chance of either rectifying the world or essentially leading it down the exact same path. Really depends up to you, but you start off a game similar to how you would with any other city builder type. So starting with a population, you need to get like your other production chains going, and a couple of the most important stuff over here to really focus on are electricity, water, having your base plywood, having bricks, glass, concrete, all that good stuff. And obviously this is where you have your settlement tiers. But in order to really get all of our stuff up and running, we're going to need some houses. So you can go over down here to the housing tab, and as you can see, there's a whole bunch as you continue to expand through the game. But for right now, we're just going to be focusing on the laborer houses. So let's go and see how many of these we can put down. I think a crisp 8 will be totally fine. And then building a road straight through so we don't see that horde icon constantly popping up to us, right? Right. So our finances and our cash are over here. So our income at the moment is 1.2k, pretty good. And something popped up on the screen right over there, new developmental level. In the game, you essentially, as you build and you research and start playing around with new things, you start getting a whole bunch of development type stuff. And this is where you can see where you're at. So right now, our civics went up a little bit, which means that we can start working on getting like the elementary school for some good education. That's really good. Transport, when we get to a point of like maybe 1, that allows us to get gravel roads instead of using the dirt roads. So really, the more you build, the more you get. That's pretty much how Kaiserpunk really works. And then along with that, you can take a look-see at the world map. Now, these are the locations that we can immediately invade later on once we do have a little bit of a force, and we want to try to do that. So if we see here in Western Europe, they have a garrison over here, and that is just 3 bunkers. Those 3 bunkers are going to be hell to break through, so we're going to have to build up some decent, military forces in order to get there. But the Western Balkans over here only has 2 units of infantry, and then Central Europe also does have 2 units of infantry with not a lot of rations and ammunition, which you can work on to get later. However, right now, what we need to do is we need to get our timber stuff going, but first, we should go ahead and salvage these ruins that are right out here. That's going to give us a fair amount of base resources to play around with, and then we'll have to figure out where the heck we want to have our first initial production chain, which is going to be, if I can find the cursed thing, there it is, the Forester. And you have these guys that pop up and tell you some good stuff, whatever. You can choose to read that in your own time. But right now, the main thing is when you're starting off, they want to incentivize you. What do you want to do? Your focus. I'm going to go for just basic food production because I'm a foodie and I just want to have some food. So it'll prompt you with a new mission plus some cash to get some more food sources for your people. And the depots right over here kind of act as, if you've ever played Tropico 5, 6, what have you, they act as both the Teamsters office and a little bit of the construction office, more so the Teamsters, just as is. They're pretty good, and they do require laborers in order to function, but as you see, you have to have that line attaching it to where the building is attached on the road, otherwise they will not be able to collect. So we're going to go ahead and put the one labor or the depot over here. And what we need to do now is we need to get some of the lumber yards built up so we can get some plywood and lumber later on. When you do have a building like this, you can choose what it's actually going to be processing. So this lumber yard currently is processing some plywood, but later on we can shift it to lumber when lumber becomes a legitimate thing that we're going to have to get. And another way to get your development points, specifically with the transportation up, is to now focus on getting some gravel paths. So you can just literally build on top of this, and over time, based off of the amount that you have built, it'll tell you automatically that your development level has gone up because you built all of that, which is pretty nice as well. But right at this point, we want to make sure that we can get our farms and all that good stuff going. And same general principle here. We have to make sure that it's within range of that depot, or we build another depot and it's totally fine. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and build 2 of these guys just to make sure that I'm going to have enough food for our people as our settlement is going to constantly expand. Right now, they do have enough vegetables, and next thing that we're going to have to work on is bread. And it will prompt us to get to that point, but I want to go ahead and build some additional labor houses over here so I can ensure I have a really large population to pull from. So we have over 200, almost 220 laborers, and that's fantastic, even when we get later on into the video where we're going to have to continue to expand our infrastructure and also our military factories. But I do want to see if we can get some of these things over here salvaged and repaired. There are certain landmarks around the map, as we saw with this depot, for example, which you can salvage it and then you can move it into your settlement, and that essentially will be the equivalent of this depot. And there aren't any base fertilities, not that I know of, but this seems to be a pretty damn decent system, at least how they have it. And I feel like over here I can have a lot of my farm fields, so we'll just go ahead and do that. And I'll put another grain farm right over here too. There is one little thing you can do to cheese here. Like, I put this depot, or I'm sorry, I put this farm right over here, right? But it says it's not connected to the depot. But the thing is, it has 2 ways of getting to the depot, 2 entrances. So if I actually build a road here, it will now be connected because that's still within the radius of that particular depot currently placed. We also want to start working on getting the flour mill and then later on the bakery. Those of you who played like Anno 1800 to death, you all should know this is like your bread and butter, no pun intended, type situation when you're at worker tier anyway. So I mean, if you pick up this game, you will instantly know exactly what the heck to do. And you know, like, that warmongering side of me is already itching, so I'm gonna go and build up my own military base from now because I kind of want to take over those other regions as quickly as possible. Look how many people we're up against, okay? We haven't found them on the map quite yet, but I see 3 regions that I can really exploit. We have to see, do we even have any handguns? We have 80 in our stockpile, really. But right now, our people are saying that they are kind of low on luxuries, and that is a bit of a problem because we don't really want them to be upset with us. Pretty much, we need to make sure that these guys are happy. Otherwise, we are going to have a lot of riots, a lot of anger problems, and we don't have time for that. So we can also work to get some public services. And this is in fact pretty good. So it'll tell you which building specifically, at least with the houses themselves, that this will help. And it's right now going to get every single one of them if we put this fire station down. But by doing so, it unlocks the electricity requirement. So in the utilities tab, we have access to some windmills. But the windmill itself is not going to do anything for us. We're going to have to build some substations around. You'll notice when you have like this purple line that if it's close enough, it'll affect it. And you do have a purple outline with this building. It's just a little bit difficult to see based off of our terrain currently. And we're going to put the police station right over here. Have we gotten one of these guys yet? They're still go. Oh, so we do have some handguns. That's really good. I like that. I like that a lot. But we can start working on producing those things ourselves through the use of a factory over here and then a munitions factory later on. But in order to get the factory, for example, going, we're going to need to get to making steel. And that is where you have your heavy industry type stuff. So you have like your brickworks, you have your smelters, your cellulose factories, your paper mill, printing press, what have you. Currently, they want us to make some paper and some newspapers specifically. So what I think I'm going to do is this building that's over here, going to yoink it and bring it into our settlement. And basically the whole newspaper chain starts off with you needing to build a cotton field. So we're gonna go ahead and build a cotton field. I don't know why I said it that way. Don't even ask. But what happens here is we now have another condition, and that is the water. So we're gonna have to get and find a water source, which we do have some over here and over there. And what we're gonna do, showing utilities, we have water towers and water pumps. So the first thing we're going to do is when you're putting down a water pump, is even going to show you where you're going to have to put it right on top, like so. Then we're going to have to connect it up via a road. So that's where you're going to have to go and build some water towers, and you can place them around your settlement, specifically to those places that you want the water to flow to. And by doing so, these two cotton fields now have water. We are going to need a cellulose factory. So we're going to put that down first, and then we're going to go back over to the heavy industries tab. We have that factory. The next one we're going to need is the paper mill. The cellulose factory we can use for later, but we need the paper mill right now, and that is also going to require us to get some more electricity going. And then finally, we need the printing press. So these three buildings all here are going to work for us relatively soon. Once I can actually put it down, I have more plywood in the freaking stockpile game. You're embarrassing me already. I'm trying to show people how to play this game, and I don't have enough plywood. And if you're constantly starving for resources, do note that you can explore all of this region and see, like, look, we have some stuff over here. We can repair this building. I don't want to use that. I would prefer to salvage these buildings for the materials. But now we have all these things that are functional now with enough electricity. So hopefully they will begin getting that stuff here soon. So the cellulose factory is going to be getting the wood ready to go for the paper mill, and then all of this is going to be going into the printing press, and we're going to start making some newspapers for our people. And if I look at the morale situation, so the luxuries are still low, the public safety is high, but they're going to want to have a little bit of education. And we want to make sure that it's a good spot, because these things all have a radius, and we want to make sure that all of those houses are still within the radius of this school. So let's go ahead and put that down. If we look over here at their luxuries, we still have to provide them with some clothes, because everyone's walking around without shirts. And the newspapers seem to be going up. And the more stuff you provide to people, the more money you're going to get later. So we're going to need like a weaver and then the cloth manufactory. So I guess I'll just get to work on that now. I'm going to put that there. Can we put this guy like... Oh, wait. We can put this right here. Nice. Nice. I am just going through so much electricity. It is unbelievable, man. So in order to get these military buildings online, specifically like making handguns, we're going to need to make some steel. And the way to do that is going into like the heavy industry with like smelters over here, for example. In order for us to make some steel, we're going to need iron and coal. And when you go over here to mining buildings, you have a whole bunch of these. So you have coal mines, you have iron mines, copper mines, zinc mines, gravel pits, and then later on you do unlock the other ones as your development level continues to rise. So at present, I want to get some coal. And when you do this, you'll see that there's two coal sources, little icons rather, that pop up over here. And that if you continue to circle around the map, you might potentially be able to find more. But for now, it's telling us that these are our only two coal sources. So we want to try to exploit them to the best of our ability. we might be able to build some field artillery as well, because that is indeed a thing. Ah, thank you for telling me that everyone has the luxuries. That's great. And now it's telling us that we should work on getting some manufacturers. And the manufacturer housing kind of looks like your typical, like, I don't know, zombie apocalypse type house. It's kind of sick, actually. And they all want water, so we need to make sure that we have that water pump around here. We need to find a way to get over here to the coal. So building a bridge is very simple. Just click and drag across, so we can at least start stockpiling some of the coal. And with this, at the point that we're at right now, we can actually go over here and level up. So when you level up social pillars, this pretty much allows you to customize your civilization. And what we can see here is we have 3 options along with political alignment going further into the red or further into the blue. We have the unions, we have pacifism, or we have the nation state. Look, I know where my priorities lie. Okay, I'm going with the infantry attack. we're doing that. We're gonna select nation state and then enact the policy. And as you can see, there are 2 wicked awesome banners right over there. That's what I'm saying. Like the game knows what's up. For the steel, I'm gonna go back to our heavy industry, go to the smelter. So we do indeed need an iron mine. Let's see where we can find an iron source. No, not really. It's too far away. So we're gonna unfortunately have to have another one of these. And that's no big whoop. I mean, we are making money. We're providing all of our luxury goods to our people at this point. So they will indeed be providing us with enough money to keep our stuff going for the most part. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm gonna get 2 smelters built up for the most part, or maybe even the one might be beneficial enough. We're going to be getting 30 plus on steel, so I think that's in fact fine, but we do need to increase our power. One additional thing that I am constantly noticing is we're running out of plywood, and I just genuinely do not want to have to deal with that any longer. So go over here to like a forester, and you know what, we'll just put the forester this close to our main building. That way we can actually ensure that this depot can reach it. And then obviously going for some additional lumber yards. We'll put them on the other side of the school. Yeah. See, if you study hard, you can go and work in the lumber yard. They do want us to produce some fish, which is awesome because we did indeed build up this whole side over here. So we can indeed start working on some fisheries. But my mind goes towards military. I have to do it. Look, it's necessary, okay? It really is. So we have the factory over here, and then we also have the munitions factory plus a vehicle factory. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to build up the factory itself, and then our teamsters, which I like to call them the teamsters, honestly, but it's the depot that's going to be delivering all the resources to them. And what we need to do is we need to swap this from the food rations over to the handguns, because I'm going to need more handguns. So as I mentioned earlier, we can swap one of those lumber yards to producing some lumber instead of plywood, and maybe this guy can be the one to do it. We only have 30 out of 50, and that's not acceptable. Not in the Imperium. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. At the early stages of the game, I kind of want to go for like 4 of these, but I'm also kind of curious. I don't have any field guns that are being made, and I kind of want to try that out. And go over there to the munitions factory, and we're going to put the munitions factory the opposite side of the road, and we can choose between regular ammunition, which is going to need to use cellulose and brass, the artillery shells, which need lead and chemicals, or the bombs that need the chemicals and the steel. But right now, I just mostly need the ammunition. I'm not processing any brass, which really sucks, so we're going to have to work on that as quickly as possible. The smelter is capable of doing that, and I definitely feel like I want to build a second one and see what the brass requirement is all about here. Okay, so to make some brass, we need copper and we need zinc. So 2 more mines need to be constructed at this point, and the copper mine is not too far off. Again, we have 3 sources, so we can start utilizing this. We're going to go and put that copper mine right over here. We also do need the zinc mine. The zinc mine is all the way in Narnia. Oh my god, you are far away. Nope. You can go 1 further forward, and then there we go. Hell yeah. Alternatively, I guess I can work on the high rises. Yeah, let's try the high rises out instead. let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, I mean, there's going to be 80 instead of just like what? How many is this one? 30. So, yeah, get some more people like that and diversify our city. And you all know diversity is an old wooden ship that was used during the Civil War era. If you know where that reference is from, leave it in the comments. We do need some more electricity. How are we going to go constantly out of electrical issues, man? I need to get a better power plant. I would like to make sure that my manufacturers are indeed happy. So I guess at this point, I'm going to go ahead and build up the fishery. And you can just build up the fishery right here on a sea tile. And it will allow you, when it tells you, like, yeah, a majority of it is on the water. I'm going to plop that thing down right over there. And obviously, you're going to need another one of these depots. So you do end up spamming these things a little bit as you spread about. But do note that, like, when your settlement continues to grow, you're going to be working into these areas. So more than likely, a city will form, or at least another city side will be over there, going up over here into the coastline, which you have, like, keys for transports and what have you. And obviously later getting into shipyards, air factories, and all that stuff. So you can continue to dominate this world. But speaking of the world, let's take a look, see at what's happening. Nothing really. I don't see any of the other NPCs quite yet. They could just be hiding in the fog of war. And we have 2 of our guys ready to go. I'm going to also train up like maybe 2 more militiamen, just so we have at least 4 militia. And then you also get into like later ones that are a lot better, obviously. These guys are just using handguns. These guys are more than likely going to be using, like, I don't know, spitballing just a random gun out of thin air, the STG-44s. I have no idea. I'm just saying. But I do also want to take a little look-see at the vehicle factory. I'm being completely honest with you, I'm being really lazy. I should just go ahead and make some clay pits. And clay pit here, and you can also get like a clay pit there. Pretty good. And then connect them both up like so. Hey, it does become pretty addicting over time, because you get like one thing done, and then the next thing requires your attention, and then you have to keep going further and further and further, and you're just like in this constant spiral. But in order to get the whole brick situation sorted ourselves, these things need water, and we can easily fix that. Just gonna go over here and build up the water tower. And we still have 169 gigawatt water, so we can use this for sure. And they're going to start producing some clay for us. And in order to make sure that we have a constant stream coming out, we're going to have to go over here to our heavy industry and build up a brickworks. And luckily we have everything over here already. The only thing that we're probably lacking for is like, oh no, we indeed have enough plywood. That's good. That's very good. Can I build it, please? Why'd you build it there? Oh, okay, never mind. We need to build a power substation here to make sure that's working. And there we go. Boom. So we're going to get some bricks out here for ourselves. Very nice. Vehicle factory. I'll put it over on this side instead. How about that? And we're going to need some more manufacturers in order to get this vehicle factory up and running fully, which is totally fine. And our electricity has gone down. So we're going to need to build more of these houses. And this is pretty good. They're still within range of our most important resources and public safety. I'm going to put like 1 over on this side as well. Pretty good, pretty good. Go and link them all up with a road 2 if it wants to cooperate with me. There we go. Nice. Oh my god. Oh, come on, man. The building's on fire. No. That's bad. That's bad. Hey, no, wait. I can fix this. Right? Maybe. Oh, this is my curse. This is my curse. I legitimately have a fire happen everywhere, every single time I play a video game. Okay, put that there. Get rid of it. At least we have a fire truck over here that's dealing with this situation. Nice. Okie dokie. So now we have the vehicle factory fully manned. And what you can do is you can put in some specific things in here for production. So because we went with Empire of Steel, right, we have light tanks, the medium tanks, which are our Panthers, and then the heavy tanks, which is our Tiger tanks. We don't obviously have access to any of these, but I kind of am dealing with more infantry tanks and field guns. I'm kind of keen on trying out the field guns. So let's put in a request for 10. And we'll see what happens if they actually do make the field guns or not. And indeed they are. If it doesn't have that thing on top of it, it means that they are indeed working. And because that is a thing, I'm going to go over here and see how many I need in order to make a unit of field guns. Apparently, we need 40 field guns. That is a hell of a lot. And because I do want to see this in action, we're going to boost this up to a crisp 40. Even though I know I built a couple already. Let's go over to the campaign map side of things and take a look-see at what's happening. So in order to really deploy your army or whichever battalion that you're planning on using, you have to press this deploy button. You can also add upgrades to them for like engineering or entrenchment, depending on what the situation is. Right now, I don't think we're going to be in a bad spot. So let's go ahead and deploy our units over here in the Italian peninsula properly. And as time progresses, you definitely do get upgrades on all these with your generals being advanced and whatnot. And no, it does not legitimately take 5 hours. You're on like 3 speed most of the time, at least I have been. 567 tons is a hell of a lot. But now our army is right here on the map. So we can choose to go and attack in the Western Balkans or Central Europe. This right over here with this entrenched location, I feel like we would lose that because they are pretty damn strong over there. So I want to try and take out the Western Balkans region with these troops. And let's see what happens. We did indeed lose, but they're really close to dying out. The thing here is that when your units do take damage, you can press this to reinforce. So we're going to go ahead and reinforce all of our guys, and in a little bit of time, they will indeed be ready to go again. These guys are not. So I want to deploy again as quickly as possible after the little cooldown timer has gone through. So the army is on cooldown after a specific action. And when we're doing that, we can also see how many field guns we've honestly made, which is not enough quite yet. We're at 28 out of 40. I will probably wait for that before attacking the Western Balkans again, because, you know, who doesn't love a good amount of Rantian artillery, am I right? And shocker, we're out of electricity again. But now we have access to coal power plants, and that's going to make a lot more energy for us. And I'm going to put this bad boy right over here. That's perfect. Ah, yes. The fires of industry. I'm sorry. I channeled Saruman a little bit too much there. Okay, so unit is ready to go. We are going to deploy it the moment that this lady tells us we have to do other things, which I'm not planning on doing right now. We are going to deploy those field guns, and once we get back onto the map over here, we'll be able to attack over here in the Western Balkans. I'm going to go over to our vehicle factory over here, because we're still making some more field guns. I want to also try to work on some infantry tanks. So let me see how many infantry tanks I'm going to need in order to get one of those units. And it looks like we need 30. We need 30 infantry tanks in order to get one unit produced. So let's go over here, put an order in for 30 tanks, and they'll start working on all that whilst we get to work on getting one of these guys ready to go. But now our icon has swapped over to utilizing the field artillery, and we want to go into the Western Balkans again. Let's go ahead and secure this region. Yeah, go in there and attack, please. Oh, yeah, that pretty much did it. Worthwhile. Worthwhile endeavor. And the Western Balkans is ours. Let's march right in, and we have now captured it. And by doing so, we are going to be having some stability-related issues. So our first thing should be to go ahead and build up a propaganda bureau. That way, we can ensure that the population is going to be willingly accepting our occupation. Our expansion, and we will be able to exploit this region for whatever the heck it has. We can also choose a garrison type, which over here, they have gone ahead and built these militia defending locations. They have 3 of them. We do also have the opportunity of building the same, but I think we'll be okay for now because I can clearly see there's no one else around us. We just have to really get up into this region. But if we want to start focusing on other resources, we can see what else they have. So an outpost serves supply point for your armies. And as we continue on, like factory complexes for region building, we have mining sites, we have infrastructure type stuff, which infrastructure is probably going to be a really good idea here. I'm not sure. Tax offices, we get more money. airbase later on for like if you're trying to go up into other regions and attack, what have you. That is pretty much a really good idea. I think for now, we should probably just go with like a farming center right here in the Western Balkans. And we can demolish it later on. It's not a big deal. Construction in 5 days, and the same goes for that over there. So we have both of these still going, and we'll keep our army over here just for the time being. But let's see about those tanks. We've only built 8 of them, and we need to continue working on other things. So in our current region, we can build up a farming center because that's what the game is essentially incentivizing us to do. So let's go ahead and build one of these down here to help with our food supplies. Propaganda Bureau is almost done. The farming center is going to be finished in 3 days and 16 hours. Not too bad. I think what we'll do is we're going to move our army back over to this side once the Propaganda Bureau has been finished out, because we want to try and attack Western Europe now. If you can totally see what I'm doing, I'm trying to reform the Roman Empire. How are we doing here? 20 out of 30 tanks ready to go. Let's see about potentially getting some other things made. So we have access to the oil pump. That's going to be pretty good for us. Let's take a look, see what these are. We have soup kitchens for fish soup. Fish soup plus, or fish plus the vegetables, that's pretty good. We also have a brewery. That's going to be kind of sick. We should do that, in fact, because that's going to make our people really happy. We are indeed providing grain. We have enough grain over there, I'm imagining. Right? Yeah, well, we're going to try it. Let's see if we can fit a brewery right behind these buildings over here. I think that'll be kind of cool. I think I want to just, like, tuck this brewery behind a whole bunch of these high-rises, man. This is actually kind of sick, not going to lie. What about the health? Is there any way that I can work on the health? There is indeed a clinic. Oh my god, look at all the... Okay, yep. We need this in a really damn good spot. What the hell else is on fire? Okay, oh, no, not my arms factories. No, that's bad, I'm sorry. Hey, stop that. Oh, shit, okay, wait, okay, now they're all exploding. This is bad. Really bad. I'm getting flustered. Hey, build that. Unreal, dude. Right. Almost good. 75% till we get these tanks. Then I do want to see if we can try to attack over here in Western Europe. What's the stability at? It is currently at 96.75%, which is pretty good. We do have another upgrade over here. So now we're going to look for more reforms, commerce, or discipline. Battalion cooldown. Okay, battalion supplies or fleet cooldown. Well, we don't have a fleet for the commerce section, so I guess we can go with reforms. Let's go ahead and do that. Oh, look at this. And our building gets a little bit nicer. Wait on my damn tanks, man. And they're ready to go. Let's go ahead and deploy them. And once they're deployed on the map, they should be the ones that are replacing the field gun from what I've seen. But if not, then we'll obviously see them still in action. We're going to have our infantry attack. We'll have the artillery hit that point, and we'll have our tanks push up, and we'll see what happens. So now we have our tank ready to go. And I want to see if we can go ahead and engineering, construction, speed. Nah, we don't need any of those, I don't think. Let's see about attacking Western Europe. Or I guess our infantry are just going to stand out in the open like that. Oh, well, we're dealing a decent amount of damage to it, but it is a massive garrison over here, so we're going to have to attack it a couple times. And reinforce attack. Okay, attack number 2. Let's go at them. They're still damaged from the last time, but we healed up pretty well. Oh, wow, they're still, like, they're actively healing, but we've taken out 2 of their garrisons. We need to deal with the last one, and with the last attack, we should have it. Reinforce the army yet again. All right, and with this last attack, hopefully we'll be able to take out this garrison. It's pretty weakened now, so I think, like, 1 barrage is going to take it out. There it goes. Don't need our other guys to get involved. And we can move in to Western Europe and occupy. And that is pretty much the world of Kaiserpunk in a nutshell. You build up a main settlement all that good stuff. Build up armies, build up navies, air forces, and get out there and secure more regions for yourself. And if you guys are curious and want to be seeing more of this on the channel, by all means, I can try to do some more. Please let me know. Big thank you again to Elda Entertainment for granting me a Steam key, and I hope you guys enjoyed this awesome game.